Hi guys, in this video we're going to be looking at how to factorize trigonometric questions. Now guys, we need to understand that trigonometric questions work exactly like when we are factorizing normal variables. Like when we're factorizing quadratic, if we have 3 terms, we can also factorize when we have 2 terms. So if we have 2 terms, there are 2 things to check. If we are given 2 terms, we first have to check if there's anything common between the 2 terms. Now, how do we know we have 2 terms? Terms are separated by a plus, a minus, and an equals to. So in the following question, let's look at number 1. The whole thing here is going to be our term number 1. And there's a minus. After a minus, then we'll have term number 2. Now, between these 2 terms, we can check if there's anything which is common. Now, when we look at this, we have cos this side, and then we also have cos of theta. So if we were to factorize that, we will say that we have the cos of theta. Now, if I take out cos theta as a common factor, now this cos, it's taken out as a common factor. What am I going to be left with? I'm going to be left with 2 the sine of theta. And if I take out this cos as a common factor, I'm going to be left out with 1. So that's how we'll factorize our number 1. Now I'll skip number 2, and then I'll go to number 3. Now in number 3, what's so interesting about this question is that we have 1 term and then we are asked to factorize. But what's interesting is that we are given a double angle. Now we know that we can change a double angle into single angle. It's a double angle of cos. The double angle of cos can be written as the cos squared of theta minus the sine squared of theta. Now again, we have 2 terms here. If we look at this, this is term number 1, this is term number 2. What I did was to change the double angle, which is something that we encourage in trigonometry. If you are given a double angle, try to change it into single angles. So now that we have this, we can check if there's anything common between these 2 terms. Now when we look at it, it's clear. There's cos squared this side and then the sine squared this side. There's nothing which seems to be common. Now if you have 2 terms, the next thing that you will try to check is that, can I have different of 2 squares? So we have cos, which is a squared. We also have sine, which is a squared. And then in between, we have a minus. Now, how do you factorize different of 2 squares? We're going to have a cos theta. And then we'll also have a cos theta. And then we'll have a plus. And then this side we'll have a minus. Then we'll have the sine of theta. And then even this side we'll have the sine of theta. That's how we'll factorize our number 2. Now we'll skip to number 4. Again, if we look at the following question, we have 2 terms, and then in the following 2 terms we have a double angle. Now guys, what did I say? If we have double angles, we're simply going to change them into single angles. So let's do number 4. Now in number 4, we'll say to them, we have 1 plus sine 2 alpha. That's what we are told. So because this is a double angle, we'll change the double angle of sine, and then we'll end up with something like 1 plus 2 the sine of alpha multiplied by the cos of alpha. Now again, I have 2 terms. This is term number 1. This is term number 2. There's nothing which is common. In between, there's a plus, so meaning that I don't have different of 2 squares again. So what I will then try to do is to say that because I have a cos and a sine, what I can do is that I have an identity that says that if I have the sine squared of alpha plus the cos squared of alpha, this is going to be given as 1. So instead of writing 1, I can write sine squared of alpha, cos squared of alpha. Then this will give me something that looks like this. I will have the sine squared of alpha plus 2 sine alpha multiplied by cos alpha plus cos squared alpha. Now how many terms do I have? I have 1, 2, 3. Now when you look at this now, it is a quadratic. I have a squared, I also have a squared. Then I will open 2 brackets. If I open my 2 brackets, I will have sine alpha, and then I will also have sine alpha here. These are factors of sine alpha there. Now I will also have plus cos alpha plus cos alpha. Now guys, if I multiply this is going to give me exactly what I have here. So I will ask you to come back and do number 3. No, we've done number 3. I will ask you to come back to do number 2. After learning how to factorize,